Job and Ruben Show. Welcome to, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I say.
You say hello, do you?
We're hello and welcome to the Job and Ruben Show. I'm sorry, I don't know who that was. He's been escorted off the premises.
Very quickly.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Job and Ruben Show.
Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about threads. It's a hot topic at this moment. So we've pushed back all our other episodes to fit this one in.
Exactly. I signed up, I think, about a week ago, and you literally just signed up before recording this podcast, and we have some thoughts. We do have some thoughts.
So let's share them with you and crack on. So I think the real question is, what is threads?
Quite right.
How would you describe it in one word?
In one word is a bit harsh.
Twitter.
I mean, I suppose so. I think, yeah, it has a lot in common with Twitter. If you don't know, Threads is the tech world's newest attempt at finally beating Twitter as Twitter tries to beat itself into the ground. It's headed up by Meta, of course, Mark Zuckerberg's baby.
It's an Instagram app.
It is an Instagram app.
They're very keen on making sure everyone knows it's all kind of part of Instagram. But it is, but at the same time, it doesn't feel that Instagram-y.
It uses the same Instagram colours and stuff, but it kind of has its own thing. It's a lot like Twitter, basically.
It's exactly like Twitter, but they use the fact how you can link your Facebook and your Instagram. They've allowed you to kind of use your Instagram to sign up for Threads, making it very easy.
And I mean, that is pretty smart. Like, Instagram is like, I think it's the most signed up to platform out of all of them. Like, it's getting the most sign-ups. Obviously, Facebook is still the king of the hill, but Facebook's kind of dying. I know that's not really a hot take, but it is. So associating it with Instagram is a pretty good choice, wouldn't you agree?
But just in people don't know what Twitter is,
oh my goodness.
Then you've been living under the rock for the past 20 years.
I would be highly concerned.
It's a general... So Threads is a general way you just kind of post images and your thoughts and ideas in basically Threads is 500 words or less. And you can post, I don't know, new episode coming out or what a wonderful day it is to be having a picnic. And everyone can kind of go, oh yes, or you might put some wisdom.
It's very text-based in comparison to like Instagram, which is more images.
Image-based, yeah.
And it has a kind of reputation for being very personal, very political at times.
Yeah.
Very controversial.
And it's very short. It's short kind of messages that you kind of get out to the world very quickly, and then very easy to repost it and share that message.
Or at least some would argue that's what it was. And then Elon Musk, the king of royally screwing things up, bought it. And on that fateful day when he walked into the Twitter headquarters with a sink in his arms, a literal sink, things have never really been the same since. There was, of course...
the dog owning it.
Did the dog own it?
In a BBC interview, he told the BBC that his dog was the CEO of Twitter.
Okay, so it's an interesting approach to running a company. There was, of course, the limit of how many tweets you can see in a day. There was Twitter Blue, where you could just pay to get verified, which, I mean, that's not really how verification works.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff that has kind of left people feeling a bit disappointed, which is where Threads steps in. So I suppose we better talk about what we actually think of Threads.
So do you think Threads...
Oh, you hit me with the big question.
...was made or was thought of before Musk bought Twitter?
No.
Or do you reckon it was a retaliation of Musk buying Twitter and some people being unhappy with Twitter?
It has to be after he bought Twitter. I mean, like, before that, Twitter didn't really have any competition. Like, it was pretty...
I'd say it was unique, wasn't it?
It was one of the, like, least censored apps, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Compared to, like, something like YouTube and stuff, where, like, oh my goodness, you're showing your thigh exposed, bro, demonetized. Like... Its lack of censorship was what made it unique, but as Elon Musk had his way with it, that's kind of been lost, and I think it had to... Come on, you must agree with me. It had to be a response to him screwing it all over.
Yeah, but then you look at Instagram, and Instagram's quite censored in some ways.
Exactly.
So I think it's definitely more censored than Twitter, but I think it probably is retaliation to... Or I think they saw Twitter falling, so they thought, we can recreate Twitter but in a better way. Maybe maybe all the people who had doubts about Twitter moving over to our platform.
Exactly, yeah. More money. I mean, that's all it is at the end of the day. In terms of what we think of it, do you want to give just like your rough impressions? Because before this, Ruben had never used Threads before. We opened up the app, he scrolled a bit. What were your initial impressions?
Well, I opened it up and it looked like Twitter.
Believe it or not, yes.
I thought it was really quick to sign up.
I don't think it's just Twitter. I think it's like Instagram and Twitter kind of fused together. I mean, obviously that's what it would be. But I like the interesting blend. Although, no direct messaging, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Well, I opened it up and I was signed up within a minute. It was less.
Very easy to get on. It's very easy to get on. And in fact,
because I downloaded the app, I opened it, and it went, "Oh, we recognise you have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Do you want to use this Instagram account?" I went, "Yes." I basically entered my password for Instagram, I think.
Mm-mm.
And then it said, "Do you want to insert your information in your bio and stuff like that?"
It all comes over from Instagram, and even there was even like a big ass like screen where you could follow everyone. And you could even follow people who aren't even on Threads, but they're on Instagram. So when they do join Threads, you automatically send a follow request to them. So
that's quite clever.
It is very clever, yeah. Very Instagram-y. I must disclose, I have zero experience with Twitter. I literally have never been on it. I don't think ever. I've seen my parents on it, obviously, but I've never been on it
I'm not
myself.
a big fan of Twitter, so I probably won't be a big fan of Twitter.
Really? I loved Twitter. Well, I was never on it, but I followed it, if you get what I mean.
I mean, I would use it for looking at, like, the new Marvel films. I think I literally follow Marvel.
Yeah.
And that might be it.
You don't use it for sports or anything?
Not a big kind of sports person.
Fair do.
But yeah, I went on and I scrolled through a little bit, and it just kind of looked at everyone kind of making fairly general, wise quotes, or what amazing day it is to be out, or...
But not necessarily that, it's just like little funny quips and stuff, which I kind of like.
It was like, forget being the favourite, forget being the favourite in the room, and what about when a dog comes up to you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like how raw and unfiltered it is, which is, what made Twitter special before it all got a bit... And I like how open people are on it, and I think that's partially due to the fact that it's less image-based. Like, obviously, when you're sharing an image of yourself, you have to be a bit more serious, naturally. But when you're just texting, obviously, people behave differently. They're a lot more open about things, which I like.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of makes some of it special.
However, there have been a few allegations of censorship on the platform already, even though it's been out for less than a week?
Yeah, less than a week.
Which is not promising, and obviously this is meta, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. I think we've got to give them a chance.
We've got to give them a chance. Well, they might not have a chance if they're currently being sued by
I was going to say.
Because they're claiming it is a replica of Twitter.
What do you think of the whole lawsuit thing?
I don't know who's going to win. I think it'll be interesting. I think there'll be a bunch of money. I think it will go into the lawsuits. Two very big companies with very powerful lawyers will battle it out, and then and then one company will win, and it will carry on. What I reckon will happen is Threads will change in the nick of time, change enough for it to not be stopped. Well, I reckon Elon Musk will have a go at it, but by the time it's kind of gone through court, it'll have changed enough so that it either goes, no, we can't be bothered to spend the money, or right, no, you're different, it's fine for you.
Well, I meant more, which side do you think is right? At the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards Zuckerberg. I think, it feels like Twitter.
It's definitely Twitter, but at the same time, hey, a little friendly competition can't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But they can't trademark the feel of Twitter. At least I don't think they should be able to trademark the feel of Twitter,
But at the same time, you look at it from Musk's point of view, that's his app. They've literally kind of copied and pasted the app, and you can't really do that. So.
I suppose so.
But I think what makes this app different at the moment is its honesty, and a few differences. So first of all, it has no ads. Along with no ads, they've also got the higher word count.
Yeah.
So it's 500 rather
Which,
than
do you think
250?
that is a good thing? Because at the same time, there's the classic phrase, limitation encourages innovation.
Yeah.
If they're limited by words, they're gonna be, a bit more clever and get to the point rather than just waffling.
That's what quite a lot of people liked. So I know my dad really liked it. when Twitter you can only have like 50 words.
Seriously?
Twitter used to be like you could write a sentence, or you could write like 10 words.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he really liked that because it was quick, it was short to the point, and it didn't go on forever. It wasn't like some big world's announcement. And
yeah, not some like politician waffle.
500 words, you could write a proper essay in 500 words kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I suppose
you can
so.
say a lot. But actually, if you limit it to 10 words, you got to be kind of tactful on what you say, and it kind of keeps it light-hearted, keeps it.
So
clever.
you're in favour then?
So I'm in favour with keeping it down rather than. But at the same time, 500 words means
Still not a
people
lot.
can say more.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Other than that, though, it doesn't really have that many differences.
Longer videos.
Except in lackings, unfortunately.
Yeah, it has got a long video, which I am in favour for. Because you can go up to you can go up to 5 minutes in video.
That's that's expensive to do, but this is meta. They have the money, don't they?
But it's compared to the 2 minutes and 20, and I reckon a longer video means people can share their experiences better. A short film of 5 minutes is fine. I reckon you could do quite a lot with a 5 minute short.
What was
video.
it on Twitter? Like 2 minutes 30.
2 minutes 20, I think.
2 minutes 20. That is not long. That runs out very quickly.
Yeah.
As we know from recording this podcast, time goes a lot faster when you're recording pretty much anything.
Yeah. So, welcome to our little halfway segue this time.
Welcome.
We're doing another joke.
Interesting spin in it today. We've generated some jokes by ChatGPT because, of course, ChatGPT is very famous for being very bad at telling jokes.
Half the jokes weren't even jokes.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, if you're a comedian out there, your job is safe for now. Do you want to start off?
Yes. So, why did the computer take up gardening?
I don't know. Why did the computer take up gardening?
Because he wanted to improve its root directory. Very funny.
That's a good one there. I had generated quite a few. Some of them are pretty bad, but this is like the most jokey one I could find. Why did the smartphone bring a parachute?
I don't know.
Because it heard it could get better signal up in the cloud. I know.
Amazing.
And there was one more that I was going to tell just because I have no idea what it is. Why did the computer go to art school?
I don't know. Why did the computer go to art school?
Because it wanted to become a master of Control-Alt-Delete. Is that a joke? I haven't managed to get it. Do you get it? If you have any idea why that's a joke, please drop us an email or a comment or something. Maybe we're just not very funny. And I hope you enjoyed the halfway section. It doesn't have direct messaging. It doesn't have hashtags, and it does not have trending things.
Oh yeah.
Trendy things.
Yeah, trending. What is it? Trending wheels? Trending searches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it'll probably come because it's in its early stages. Like hashtags. I can't believe they haven't added hashtags considering.
Oh yeah, that's really dumb.
Considering, I mean, I don't use hashtags.
Oh no, neither.
Because like my account's private.
That probably tags.
The whole point of like Instagram is it has tags, doesn't it?
I know, that's how you find the stuff you want to. Maybe they're just really confident in the algorithm or something. Do you think that's it? Because this is Meta. They are famous for
possibly, but especially in YouTube, and if you're uploading videos and stuff, half your SEO and stuff is through your hashtags.
Oh, I know. They're definitely going to implement it.
They've got to soon.
I feel like they've got
DMs. I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea
you basically do it through Instagram, don't you?
No one really uses DMs on Twitter, I don't think.
Oh, I think they do.
Do they?
I think they do. I feel like maybe just to continue the arguments they were having in the actual thread, but you know. Oh, that's going to be weird, isn't it? I've heard this debate before. What do you call a post on Threads then? Is it a thread?
It must be, isn't it?
But what if you just put a post and nobody responds? Then it's not a thread though, is it?
It's a needle.
Damn. Okay, that's actually really good. Write that down or something. Okay, so that's a needle. Do you think it's going to be kind of awkward every time a Twitter thread starts?
Or it's a thread and a stitch. As soon as it gets longer, it becomes a stitch.
Ah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel. Do you feel like it's going to be kind of awkward now on Twitter whenever there's multiple Twitter threads?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to mandate it like be something else. Oh no, we're not allowed to call them Twitter threads because that's the competition. Maybe it's Twitter trails now. some tech speak like
wings.
that. Ah yes, of course.
Wings.
I've just started a wing on Twitter.
Yeah, which I don't know. I think if you're going to DM people, you could just use Twitter's DMing. No, not Twitter's
Instagrams.
Instagram's DMing, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like
because it is heavily linked with Instagram.
Shall we quickly go over what do you think this means for the rest of the Twitter competitors? Because as you know, we have Blue Sky, which was run by Jack What's-His-Face, the former head of Twitter.
I don't think he's got to be too concerned, considering that's like an invite-only app for all the rich people.
Yeah,
so
but
it
hasn't technically released yet though. Like once they release, it's no longer going to be invite only. I think I'm not sure. So,
but currently it's like an invite-only exclusive app for all the rich people. So actually, I don't reckon that's going anywhere because rich people always want their exclusivity kind of.
I suppose so. I'm hopeful for it though. And then of course there is Mastodon, which honestly, although it's open source and you'd think I'd really like it, I actually hate it.
Do you hate it?
I think it's really bad.
Is it bad?
It's so. Have you used it?
No, I haven't actually.
Because my mum tried to sign up to it, immediately gave up. Because not only do you have to join it, you have to pick a server, and really, it doesn't matter what server you pick. But that extra layer of what's a server? Because when you think server, you think Discord server, don't you? Whereas, so you're are these groups and stuff?
No, I think.
Okay, well, normal people who aren't a nerd like you, because you're probably thinking of a server farm in I don't know, freaking the Swiss Alps or something.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a big computer kind of thing.
When really it's kind of just where your things are actually hosted.
Yeah,
so it's a server. That's
what I think of a server rather.
But most people don't know that, and I think it's way too complicated, and they're trying to be here. How can they claim to be a proper competitor when they've got all these extra steps and layers that normies, who, let's face it, are the people you're going to want to get on your platform.
Yeah, definitely.
Understand.
When you want an app, you want it as simplistic as possible.
Which is partially why Threads are so good.
Yeah, because it took me less than a minute to sign up. I went, next, done. Whoa, I was surprised at how fast.
Oh, I know.
To sign up.
And then, of course, there's the rest of them. There's T2, the other ones.
But no...
Nobody is using them.
But I just don't... They're just not... They're probably really niche. Certain groups probably use them, but
a lot of techies are on there.
That's the thing. I don't reckon they'll die out because, well, they've got because they're so small anyway. It's just the small minority groups.
I feel like if Threads takes off, it's gonna kind of.
There's just the small niche groups that are on there, so those groups will just carry on using that app like they usually have. Or they might transition over. Who knows?
I want Mastodon to get better, really, and I kind of want. A part of me wants Blue Sky to succeed, but I feel like Threads has got the biggest chance, which partially links back to, do you think Threads is going to survive, and even more, do you think Threads is going to kill Twitter?
I don't know whether it's a Twitter destroyer yet.
Really?
I reckon because it's only its early stages, remember, it's still early stages, I still reckon it could be good. But at the same time, here's where I think its downfall is. It's both it's like a two-sided...
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged
is
sword,
the word.
that's it. Double-edged
is the
sword.
phrase, rather.
Yes, because I was thinking, well, it's really good that it's part of Meta and Instagram because of how easy everything links together. But at the same time, that could be its downfall because it's not inspiring.
But
in this
and also, do you think it's kind of scary that if Threads takes off and kills Twitter, pretty much YouTube and Snapchat are the only non-Meta social medias,
which is where it gets
which is a bit terrifying.
Because if one company owns all the social media,
that is a monopoly.
That's and we in the UK we stopped Microsoft from buying
Activision Blizzard, wasn't it?
Yes, we stopped Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard because we didn't want them getting a monopoly.
Yeah,
in that's
gaming,
law.
And arguably, but not even arguably, clearly, social media is more prevalent in our lives than gaming. So
but interestingly, do you reckon because Meta having their VR, do you reckon Threads will be a VR thing?
I hate it. No, don't even. If Threads becomes part of the metaverse, I'm going to commit a murder.
No, I reckon that would be really quite cool. Because they could really twist it into if it's done right. I reckon they could that would really boost the VR world, would it not?
No,
because then you have a VR designated good VR social media that you can also use on your phone.
Okay, good social media and VR are two separate terms. I think VR just isn't ready. Alright, we're still finding out how to put apps in it properly, Apple's what do they call it? Vision Pro.
Vision Pro.
They're still working out how to properly integrate apps into it.
But that's why they announced it so early.
And I think social media, part of what makes Twitter so prevalent is that, like, it's not like Instagram where you have to plan out a post carefully and, like, edit the photos and, ew, we're making this perfect little post here. It's very raw and unfiltered.
A bit like Be Real, kind of, in that. I think
exactly.
That's probably why it's popular.
But VR isn't that. VR is, like, intentional. When you put on a VR headset, you're going in there for a specific purpose. So I feel like Instagram could work in VR, but Threads, where you kind of just, like, pick it up, ooh, I'm in a cafe, it's pretty nice, I'm having a muffin, and then you put it down.
I think
that couldn't work with VR.
So I think it could go two ways. It could either go really well or die out. It's one of those, wait a couple months to see what will happen with it.
Interesting.
But I think that proper verification might take the lead on that.
To do with your point, Threads actually used to be another Meta product. Threads used to be its own separate app before this, and it was used only for Instagram DMing. So Threads used to be a thing, and then they killed that in like 2020, 2021, and now they obviously reused the name Threads for their new app. So that lets you know how easily Meta apps can die out.
An Instagram app.
Yeah.
It's definitely got a lot of hype around it, so it might survive, I reckon.
I suppose the question is, do you want it to succeed? Personally,
I want it to succeed.
Really?
Actually, I'm not too fussed. So
are you going to use it, is the question.
I've downloaded the app now, so I might scroll through it occasionally.
A little bit. I think if it were any company but Meta, I would want it to succeed. But I really don't want Meta to succeed, because I think the fact is, eventually, it's going to get more and more censored. They're going to add more and more ads, because right now it's ad-free. But I think they said after a few years they're going to add ads. Or maybe not even a few years.
But if it keeps the proper verification, though.
I suppose so, but the verification, the other Twitter competitors use that. So if it does succeed, which it probably will, I wouldn't really enjoy it. And if it fails, the Twitter competitors, Mastodon, Blue Sky, they'll just come back out the woodwork and keep doing what they're doing. So I don't really want it to succeed just because it's Meta. Really, I just want Mastodon to get better and Blue Sky to keep doing their thing and eventually open up.
But maybe Twitter, I reckon Twitter will change though. I reckon Twitter will retaliate and push for something and make a couple changes on their half.
I think I quite like that idea. I think this is definitely going to be a lot of competition for them, because this is, don't let us forget, this is Meta, the largest social media company in the world.
This is the largest kind of.
I'll say that, and then it'll probably be like some like random Chinese company.
Is like
one of the largest social media companies.
Yeah,
in the
one
world.
of the largest tech men battling it out.
Oh, I know.
Between two, like a multi-billion clashing between power and tech. It could go either way.
I just hope Elon Musk, this encourages him to get his act together and finally make Twitter what it used to be. And now, finally, I think we have to address the rumours. There is a rumour that Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk may be sparring in a cage fight to finally settle once and for all who is the most evil billionaire
in the world.
Yeah, and they've been in contact with the UFC, I think, apparently. I don't know if it's being organised. We don't really know what's going on. The question is, who do you think would win? Based on personality.
Well, Musk's bigger, but I reckon...
I feel like he'd be overconfident.
But I reckon he'd be overconfident, and I reckon Zuck's got this. I reckon he could dance circles around him.
Zuck. He's slender. He's got the frame for it, hasn't he?
Judo as well.
He does.
So,
I think something like that.
I think it'd be quite interesting, a bit of fun. I don't reckon it would be anything serious, as long as it's light.
And also, if
fun.
the rumours that Mark Zuckerberg is an android are true, I feel like he'd go at it with like robotic precision, like the Terminator or something, and like he'd just wait it out as Elon Musk like tires himself out, just, and then finally, once it's finished, he goes in for the final, boom,
kill. Well, I think that was a very fun episode on Threads.
Yes,
It wasn't the most bulked out episode.
Not
information, but then actually it's quite good. There isn't.
And a fair bit of debate in there too.
Yeah, Threads is still fairly new, and
I'd encourage all of you to check it out. Obviously, be cautious. This is a meta app. It's probably stealing all your data, but it's very fun. Has a lot of potential, and I'm kind of enjoying it. Yeah.
We'll see what it becomes.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Adios, amigos.
And make sure you follow us.
Wait.